How's it going? I'm Tom from Mainline Overland. Today we have an all-wheel drive 2023 144 Sprinter, and we're going to take a look at some of the all-wheel drive Rip Kit changes. So we're going to get this van up on the lift and take a look underneath. So this is the front end of the all-wheel drive Sprinter. There are some small changes when we're doing something like an aftermarket suspension kit to this. In this case, we're using the Agile Rip Kit. The Agile Rip Kit consists of a coil conversion kit that basically turns your front strut into a coil strut. And then it has a auxiliary shock with auxiliary shock mounts top and bottom. The biggest change in the 2023 Rip Kit for the all-wheel drive is going to be this bottom mount here, which has this sort of almost telescoping piece that comes off of the lower control arm and then has a mounting point for the auxiliary shock here. The Sprinter has a transverse leaf spring as the main spring component of the front suspension. And that can be a little bit wishy-washy in the turns. You can have a lot of dive and understeer. So adding something like the coil conversion kit to the front end gives a little bit more of a supple feel, supple steering feel going into turns, especially let's say you're going on and off like on ramps on the highway where you really have to take those turns, sometimes increasing radius turns. This coil spring on the outside here really helps set up the suspension as you're going into those turns. One other item that's really great in terms of off-road suspension compliance is the Aux Shock in the front here. So this is a second shock in addition to your main strut that's going to give you increased dampening when you're off-road, especially and you're pounding around on off-road terrain or on washboard roads. So with the Agile Rip Kit, it also has a spacer kit. In order to clear the coil strut, you have a 16mm spacer on all four corners of the vehicle. That spacer also widens your contact patches by about 2 inches, and it allows larger wheels and tires like this 275/7017 KO2. That's going to allow you to have a little bit wider stance, a little bit better roll resistance on the vehicle, especially with heavy loads. So on the rear for an all-wheel drive, there's not a whole lot of difference between the four-wheel drive. In this particular case, we went with the Agile Progressive Leaf Pack, which is a big upgrade over the stock parabolic leaf spring in the Sprinter. And we did the Fox 2.0 shock, which is their standard shock, but we added to that the Agile double shear bracket. This is an Alaska-bound truck. It's going to be seeing very heavy use up there. So we use the double shear brackets to give some added protection to the rear shocks. So if you just purchased an all-wheel drive Sprinter and you're looking to do some suspension upgrades, give us a call at Mainline Overland, 844-656-7626, or check us out online. We'd love to talk about the Agile Rip Kit with you and help set up your vehicle.